What can you tell about a woman from her hands? You might be able to guess that she's a painter, or that she loves getting tattoos. Maybe you can tell her cat scratches, or perhaps that she plays guitar, or works in a garage. But what can you tell about a culture by how it depicts her hands and the art it creates? Portrayals of women throughout art history, of course, come from specific cultures, and so what their hands are doing or how they are depicted can reveal the relative roles and value of women of those specific cultures. In prehistoric times, when the struggle for survival reigned supreme, fertility ranked high on a long list of concerns. The Venus of Willendorf reveals this fixation through an exaggeration of her baby-making parts, which is largely assisted by an accompanying underrepresentation of her fertility-irrelevant parts, like her hands. Historians know that ancient Egyptian culture was matrilineal. In a patrilineal society, men assume roles as, and are expected to be protectors. In matrilineal societies, women also assume these roles. This is evident in the statue of Khmer Neti and Menkor, where one of the queen's arms wraps around the king's waist while the other holds his arm, enveloping him within her protection. The audacity of the Etruscan woman absolutely appalled ancient Greco-Roman male writers because they were not accustomed to seeing such a public equality between men and women. Etruscan women, in all their boldness, kept their names, had property rights, were literate, enjoyed public life, and they even attended public banquets. This reclining couple enjoys banquet festivities together. The female figure's hands are speculated to have been pouring perfume and holding a pomegranate, both symbols associated with the afterlife, super duper important in Etruscan society, thus establishing the female figure as the primary cultural communicator in this piece. Even the receiving position of the male figure's hand could suggest a slightly secondary role to the woman's. But what do you get when you combine the patriarchal forces of the Roman Empire with traditional Christianity? Why woman blaming? Well, of course, look here. At this late antique church mosaic that is said to be bursting with implied communication through gaze and gesture, Abraham and Lot guide their separate groups towards separate fates, one towards salvation and one towards sin. But wait, who really is leading the groups? This so-called communication through gesture dictates that on the left, the figure preceding the saved Christians is a little boy, Isaac, a prefigurement of Christ. And the figures preceding the damned Sodomites are Lot's two daughters, instruments of temptation and evil, and are responsible for the impending sodomistic downfall, much like the temptress Eve, responsible for the downfall of all of humanity, and especially all inferior womankind. So how are women's hands portrayed today in American culture? What does it say about our culture's expectation of women and what we value in womanhood?